The male protagonist was originally a worthless son-in-law, but after 3 years of marriage, he discovered that his wife was having an affair with a nouveau riche and was kicked out of the house, forced to sign a divorce agreement. After being beaten into a state of unconsciousness by the nouveau riche, he was rescued by the female protagonist, who had turned out to be the daughter of the most powerful local conglomerate. It turned out that the male and female protagonist's elders were lifelong friends and had a treasured family heirloom. In his dream, the male protagonist gained a new skill and captured the female protagonist's heart. Ethan Smith heard his wife, Sylvia Johnson, and a man mocking him at the door of the luxurious mansion. In anger, he kicked the door open and found Sylvia Johnson and the man in bed, which was a devastating blow to him. Sylvia Johnson mocked Ethan Smith for being spineless and unsuccessful, and told him that the man was Gary Brown, a young master of the Zhao family who had accumulated nearly 100 million wealth at a young age. Sylvia Johnson sneered at Ethan Smith that he was not even as good as a dog. Ethan Smith was in tears and asked him to collect his things and leave. He felt hopeless and tried to take revenge, but was beaten into a pulp. He felt that he did not deserve to live. Gary Brown threatened him to leave, and Sylvia Johnson's family also drove him away. While leaving, he collapsed on the road and was taken in by a girl named Emily Taylor. Emily Taylor was his grandfather's betrothed fiancée, but she had no regard for Ethan Smith. At her grandfather's request, she put a pendant left by Ethan Smith's father around his neck. Emily Taylor saved Ethan Smith and took him to the hospital. In a dream, Ethan Smith met a godlike man, possibly his father, who imparted a vast array of memories to him, including medical knowledge, cultivation methods, and mysterious arts, all of which were unfamiliar to him. At that moment, a greenish energy slowly flowed into his dantian, where the life force resides. When he woke up in the hospital, he found that his memories seemed to be merging and his body had become stronger. He quickly thanked Emily Taylor, but at that moment, Emily Taylor began to cough. It turned out that Emily Taylor had asthma since childhood. When Ethan Smith learned about it, he recalled countless scrolls of medical knowledge in his mind. The knowledge in his mind told him that in order to treat asthma, he needed to place his hand on Emily Taylor's chest, but he lacked confidence, and the doctors around him mocked him for taking advantage of Emily Taylor. Emily Taylor gave him a chance, but warned him not to exploit her. Emily Taylor's irresistibly perfect and sexy figure made Sylvia Johnson pale in comparison. Ethan Smith suppressed his inner impulses, ignored his dirty thoughts, and calmed his nerves, focusing on treating her accordingly to the instructions in his mind. After a while, Emily Taylor had not fully recovered and felt disappointed. The doctors and bodyguards wanted to punish Ethan Smith, but Emily Taylor decided to let him go and sighed that her grandfather had misjudged him. Suddenly, Emily Taylor touched her chest and was surprised to feel a warm sensation flowing through her body. The suffocating and itchy feelings disappeared. Emily Taylor praised Ethan Smith's medical skills and was curious why such a talented doctor was living such a mediocre life. Ethan Smith felt happiness. Sylvia Johnson suddenly called Ethan Smith and rudely demanded he come back and sign the divorce agreement. Ethan Smith was very troubled. Emily Taylor offered to accompany him to the Sioux family's residence to meet his family, which surprised him. At home, Sylvia Johnson and Gary Brown's arrogance and disrespect sparked Ethan Smith's anger, but Emily Taylor stopped him. Sylvia Johnson grabbed the divorce agreement and slammed it on the table in front of Ethan Smith. Ethan Smith eventually signed the divorce agreement, his eyes bloodshot as he cried out in anguish. He would never forget the humiliation of that day and vowed to seek revenge. Although Sylvia Johnson had no feelings for Ethan Smith, she was still unhappy to see her ex-husband in a new relationship so soon. On the other hand, the woman in front of them was so charming that Gary Brown couldn't take his eyes off her. Gary Brown heard that Emily Taylor was developing a real estate business opportunity and tried to lure her into a partnership, but was ridiculed and rejected by Emily Taylor. Finally, Ethan Smith left with Emily Taylor. Ethan Smith and Emily Taylor left the site where they were ridiculed, and Emily Taylor offered a luxury villa for Ethan Smith to live in. Emily Taylor prepared to attend a grand banquet, and she drove a Maybach there. Her secretary asked her if she would marry the worm, Ethan Smith, and Emily Taylor said that she started to believe in Mr. Yan's words and praised Ethan Smith as a person with integrity. When discussing the list of cooperation, Emily Taylor deleted companies managed by the Zhao family, showing her dissatisfaction and distrust toward them. Chapter 2 of the novel introduces female plunderer system and focuses on the protagonist, Alex Winchester. This chapter delves deep into Alex's attributes, skills, and interactions with a newly acquired system. At the beginning of the chapter, readers are introduced to the sudden appearance of the female plunderer system, which seems to be a game-like interface system affecting Alex's abilities and decisions. The system provides information about Alex's current status. Emily Taylor initially canceled the invitation of the Zhao family's company, but changed her mind and wanted to see their reaction when they saw Ethan Smith at the banquet. Ethan Smith was arranged to live in the villa of the Dragon Heaven world, where he had begun to learn about cultivation and medicine, discovering incredible information hidden within. He absorbed the natural aura around him and eventually merged it with the true energy in his Dantian, entering the first level of Qi refining. Feeling the endless power and energy within him, he punched a nearby boulder. After absorbing the natural aura around him, Ethan Smith decided to go out and purchase medicinal materials to further enhance his cultivation. He only had 132 yuan in cash, as every penny of his salary had been handed over to Sylvia Johnson since they got married. Ethan Smith realized that cultivation required strong financial backing. However, when he reached the entrance of the community, Gary Brown and Sylvia Johnson stopped him in their car, accusing him of following them. Under their mocking words, Ethan Smith clenched his fists, offering them a chance to apologize. Gary Brown and Sylvia Johnson continued to mock and attack Ethan Smith, but he slapped Gary Brown and left the scene. While purchasing medicinal materials, he found out that his financial resources were limited, and he could only afford to buy low-quality herbs that had little effect. Sylvia Johnson called Ethan Smith and threatened him, saying that Gary Brown had found Lei Hu and would kill him. Lei Hu was a notorious figure in Chongqing who had made a fortune in collaboration with real estate developers. Emily Taylor planned to hold a banquet and wanted Ethan Smith to attend. She wished for everyone in Chongqing to know him and declared him as hers. Emily Taylor jokingly asked Ethan Smith why he was buying medicine when she saw him, and upon realizing he had purchased low-quality medicinal materials, she offered to give him high-quality ones. She gave Ethan Smith confidence and moved him with her kindness.